Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm the Obsessive Bookseller, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Age of Ash, first book in the Kithamar series by Daniel Abraham. Slated to come out on February 15th, I've had this on my radar ever since the cover was revealed last year. Daniel Abraham is one of my all-time favorite authors. I love his writing. It just sings to my soul. I find his writing incredibly addicting. I had several on my TBR ahead of it in line, and I wasn't supposed to pick it up for like a month. I opened up my phone one day and was like, well, I'll just read like the first couple pages. And so every time I had a chance, I'd sneak a peek at it and read 2 or 3 more pages on my phone. And so by the time I was actually supposed to be reading it, I was already 20% of the way through it. I feel like every book that I read by him has this subtle vision and very beautiful but also subtle world building. It's always done in a way that's just slightly different than anything I've ever read before. Very unique type of storytelling, very unique focus of the books. Characters and world building are definitely my favorite aspects of this book. This is a highly character-driven novel. The kind of high focus on characters that only comes around if the author isn't self-conscious about taking it slow. And immediately with this one, it referenced a few characters that kind of enigmas in a sense that I instantly latched onto and wanted to know more about. I felt so enmeshed with what was going on that I felt myself getting angry at the characters. I felt myself despairing with the characters. And a few times I even talked to them. Like I'm sitting here talking to my book, and I know when that happens, I am really invested. And Abraham seems to do that to me like no other. The last book I talked to, yelled at in fact, was Tyment's Wrath in the Expanse series. So it's that very raw human experience that gives you this connection to these flawed characters, and they all feel like real people, and I feel like that's the magic of them. It's the same thing in Robin Hobb books and Joe Abercrombie books. I think that the more they feel like real people, the more I like reading about them. The structure of this book was really interesting. There's these periphery characters who you're wildly interested in, but he doesn't ever dive into a POV with them, so you have no idea what's going on. And after finishing the book, listening to a couple of other reviews for it, I finally know that that's on purpose because the trilogy is going to be kind of an expanding perspective where each book focuses on a different aspect of this conflict. And with what I know so far, I cannot wait to get into the POVs that we didn't get a chance to sit with in this particular installment. So cool, such a good idea for a story, and I am really hopeful that it's all going to come together with this massive, profound moment. Another thing I love about Abraham is some of the unconventionality in his focus in his novels. So he will take time to dig into the politics of a city. He'll take the time to really dig into the economy and bring you along with these characters as they struggle to feed themselves and to find places to sleep. And it is just, that is part of the world building aspect that makes it so immersive. That's something Abraham always does really well. This is yet another one of those amazing reads for me where I could just turn off my overcritical mind while enjoying the book and just live for the journey, be in the moment. It's only in retrospect, thinking about it and thinking about how to present it to an audience, that I take into account what might not work well for other readers. This is a very, very character-driven novel, so if you're not on board with the characters from the beginning, you might struggle a little bit. There were some what I would call really profound moments in the story, but nothing on an epic scale that would be earth-shattering. And there was a lot of moving parts, but there's not a lot of what I would call action scenes. But if the beauty of Abraham's writing works for you as much as it does for me, then this was a grand slam. Everything I hoped it would be, an awesome start to a series, and I cannot wait to read on. I think I'm landing at about a 4-star rating. It was beautiful and everything I hoped it would be, but it lacked a couple of really key memorable moments that I know will come later in the series, and so I'm reserving those higher ratings for future books. But 4 stars is pretty good for me. It means I really liked it. Okay, now let's talk about other books you might like if you enjoyed Age of Ash. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. I feel like this one is highly comparable for kind of the overall atmosphere and the city life. And this one I would also consider a more character-driven novel. There's a couple of heist aspects, but it's definitely more about the day-to-day life with these people. And I should have led with this one, but if you like Age of Ash, this is definitely another work by him that's worth looking into. Shadow and Summer, book 1 of the Long Price Quartet series. Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. One of the main POVs in Age of Ash reminded me of the main character in this one. And this one doesn't take itself quite as seriously, but the city atmosphere and vibe was awesome. If you liked Age of Ash, but you wish there was a little bit more fantasy and magic element to it, then this one would be a good pick. Sins of Empire, technically book 4 in the Promise of Blood Powder Mage series. And it's the start of a second trilogy, but you know, I would not read this one without reading the first. But if you've read the Powder Mage series, then for me, the events and characters and atmosphere in this second set of 3 reminds me a lot more of Age of Ash than the first set. It's very much about the politics, and the overall conflict in Age of Ash reminds me of what they're working towards in this one as well. The 12 Kings of Sharakai by Bradley Buelu. This author's world building is also incredibly immersive, probably even a little more detailed than Age of Ash. I thought the plot wasn't as well composed in this one. I think the flashback scenes kind of detracted from the momentum of the story as a whole. But the basic sense you get of being with these characters, the type of setting is similar, and overall it just has kind of a similar feel. Kind of a slow burn also, so you might give that one a try too. Thank you for joining me on this book review. I hope to catch you next time. Bye.